Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Eric Mangini gets real on difficulties of Cowboys hiring Bill Belichick. Despite finishing with a 12-5 record in each of the last 3 seasons, Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy finds himself on the hot seat. Now, from my vantage point, there are 3 ways to look at this. Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat because despite the fact that Dallas has won more regular season games over the last 3 years than any other team in the NFL except for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cowboys are a disappointing 1-3 in the postseason in that time. Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat because Jerry Jones is the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry operates a little differently than other team owners do. Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat because Bill Belichick is waiting for the Dallas Cowboys job to open up. Let's focus on that last point for the time being. For as accomplished as Mike McCarthy has been as an NFL head coach, his 167 career wins are 17th most in NFL history. For better or worse, he is not Bill Belichick. Belichick's success is nearly unparalleled, and for that reason, he had grown accustomed to being given complete control of football operations during his tenure with the New England Patriots. Once Belichick's time in New England had finally petered out, the expectation around the league was that Belichick would be in search of similar control wherever he decided to coach next. This proposition may have scared away numerous teams. The Atlanta Falcons, for instance, were hesitant to pull the trigger on hiring Belichick for that very reason. However, according to Bill Belichick disciple-turned-rival Eric Mangini, the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job could be the only one Belichick would be willing to loosen his grip on football operations for. The difficult part about that is which GM is going to have the strength to stand up to Bill and to stand up to him consistently. Mangini wondered, during an appearance on The Herd with Colin Cowherd. To say you know this player is better for your vision than the player that you like. Is Bill going to be able to take a step back and accept that? Now maybe Dallas is the best place for Bill because the GM is the owner, and that's one person you can't push back against. And he was able to push back against Bill Parcells, so maybe he can make it work with Bill Belichick. By no means is it a guarantee that Bill Belichick will end up coaching the Dallas Cowboys, or anybody else for that matter, in 2025. The 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach is 72 years old already, and despite being 27 wins shy of passing Don Shula for the most in NFL history, he's widely considered to be the greatest coach in the history of the sport. However, if Belichick does make one last push for Shula's record, he'll likely be bringing many of his former assistants in New England with him. Just don't expect Eric Mangini to be one of them. The Bill Belichick, Eric Mangini saga. Eric Mangini was a defensive assistant under Bill Belichick with the New York Jets for 3 seasons in the late 90s, and then coached with Belichick for 6 more seasons in New England before becoming the youngest head coach in the NFL when he took the job to return to New York. Mangini's departure put an immediate strain on his relationship with his former mentor, and things only got worse in 2007 when Mangini became the catalyst of the Spygate scandal. Rich Cimini of ESPN.com detailed the chain of events that led to the former friends becoming bitter rivals. It was destroyed at the start of the 2007 season when the Jets and Patriots met in New Jersey. Before the game, Mangini told Jets security to keep an eye on the Patriots sideline where they were illegally videotaping opponents' signals. The Jets informed the NFL, and sure enough, the Patriots got busted during the game. In the aftermath of the NFL's investigation, the Patriots were fined $250,000 and lost a 2008 one-stone-round draft pick. Belichick was hit with a massive $500,000 fine as well. Since 2007, Belichick and Mangini still haven't spoken, though the Manginius is still hopeful that he and Belichick could eventually bury the hatchet. Cowboys trading superstar has a lot of smoke, says ex-Dallas scout. The Dallas Cowboys have very pressing concerns in attempting to retain Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb. Prescott and Lamb are both heading into the final season of their deals, but Parsons is also moving towards a lucrative new contract. Former Cowboys scout Brian Broaddus believes the front office may explore a blockbuster trade for Parsons if Prescott does not take less money. The longtime NFL scout explained that Dallas would not only save money but net significant draft capital by moving the star defender. Prescott could offer them a solution to try and get things done by taking less money, Broaddus explained during a July 9 19, 2024 episode of Love of the Star podcast. If they don't do that, I see Micah Parsons being potentially traded from this organization. I believe where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think there's a lot of smoke about Micah Parsons right now. Even though his contract is the furthest away from having to deal with it, there's tags and things like that you can use. My gut feeling is he might fetch the most draft capital of the three players via trade, if that makes sense. Cowboys star Micah Parsons is projected to land a 5-year, $200 million contract. Parsons is heading into the final season of a 4-year, $17 million rookie contract. The Cowboys have already picked up Parsons' fifth-year option for 2025. This keeps Parsons under contract for at least another 2 seasons, and Dallas has the franchise tag to potentially use on the star in 2027. The challenge is Parsons is going to eventually need to get paid. Bleacher Report's Maurice Modone projected that Parsons will earn a 5-year, $200 million contract with $130 million in guaranteed money on his next deal. If he wins 2024 Defensive Player of the Year, the Dallas Cowboys will likely have to sign off on a record-setting deal to satisfy his contract demands, Modone wrote in a July 16th article titled, Projecting Contracts for NFL Players Who Could Reset Major Position Markets in 2025. Quote ellipsis, on top of that, Parsons has the versatility to impact the game in different ways as an edge rusher and off-ball linebacker. Parsons isn't worried about a contract extension because he knows that his big payday will come soon. Cowboys Vice President Stephen Jones on keeping the team's stars. It's a challenge. Prescott and Lamb are also projected to land sizable deals, with these bills coming due sooner than Parsons. The Dallas quarterback is projected to land a 4-year, $212.2 million deal per Spotrac. This is a significant raise from his current 4-year, $160 million contract if it comes to fruition. Spotrac projects Lamb could ink a 4-year, $136.1 million contract. This is a sizable jump from his 4-year, $14 million rookie deal and even his $17.9 million salary for his 5th-year option in 2024. Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones admitted that it will be challenging to retain all of the team's stars. We're trying to a little bit play Houdini and how to keep all these guys around, Doc. Jones explained in an interview on the Athletics' Scoop City podcast during a July 19th episode, and keep these players we were fortunate enough to draft. And when you start stacking them up like that, it's a challenge. It's not that it's not doable, but you certainly gotta have some give and take if you want to do that. Cowboys co-owner Stephen Jones' big roster admission will please Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys find themselves in a unique position as the 2024 NFL season approaches. On one hand, Dallas is still in many ways America's team. The Cowboys have had more regular season success than any other team in the NFC over the last 3 years, and their roster is spearheaded by a trio of all-pros, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, who are in line for market-setting deals, or at least deals that would come close. On the other hand, this is a franchise that enters each and every season with Super Bowl or bust expectations placed on them by the owner of the team, Jerry Jones. To make matters worse, for as rich as Jerry Jones is, there isn't a limitless amount of money that he can spend on the team. Champagne problems, am I right? Paying everybody on the roster, including Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons, their desired or deserved salary is a nearly impossible task, but one that the Cowboys front office is attempting to make a reality by any means necessary. Even magic. We're trying to a little bit play Houdini in how to keep all these guys around, Doc, and keep these players we were fortunate enough to draft, Cowboys co-owner Stephen Jones said recently during an interview on the Scoop City podcast. H.T. Diana Rossini and Larry Holder of The Athletic. While both CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons were highly touted first-round picks for the Cowboys in back-to-back drafts, Dak Prescott was a fourth-round pick in 2016 who was thrust into action ahead of his rookie year only because of a preseason injury to starting quarterback Tony Romo. Since then, Prescott has gone 73-41 as the starter in Dallas and finished second in MVP voting last season. However, Dak Prescott's success has proven to be something of a double-edged sword. Prescott is due $55 million on the final year of his contract this year and will be in line for a deal even bigger than that potentially moving forward. Given his regular season success, it's understandable that the Cowboys would pony up the money for him. But in that scenario, building a championship roster roster around him becomes more difficult. Cut to Stephen Jones pulling a rabbit out of his hat as CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons look on. Can the Cowboys keep Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons? Even with this challenge, Stephen Jones believes that locking down not only Dak Prescott but also CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons is a realistic possibility. "We are optimistic that we can get these guys done," Jones said. "When you're talking about CeeDee and Doc, and you know somebody like a Micah coming up, I mean, you're talking about two players that aren't quarterbacks that feel like they ought to be a little bit like the Vikings' Justin Jefferson, the top-paid non-quarterbacks in the league. In June, Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $140 million deal to remain with the Minnesota Vikings, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL, edging out San Francisco 49ers edge rusher Nick Bosa, who signed a deal worth $34 million per year ahead of the 2023 season. Looking at the production of Lamb and Parsons versus Jefferson and Bosa last season, the Cowboys duo has a rock-solid case to receive deals in that neighborhood.